BYD stock price has just jumped right up significantly. However, whilst BYD is still selling at a much higher price sales ratio than Toyota, for example, 1.26 times sales ratio versus Toyota's 0.82 times, they're still a long way behind Tesla's ratio and, of course, even XPeng. XPeng is at 2.97. Kind of gives you an idea on basically where investors think these companies are going to end up in 5 years' time from now. BYD's stock price has suddenly, done something very weird. If you look at the actual chart here for BYD, its stock has gone up drastically within the space of a couple of hours. Now, if you look at BYD's stock value right now, it's sitting at 327 Chinese yen. That means that over the last 12 months, it's actually gone up by 82.9%. 82.9%. That's huge. But I still think actually it's significantly undervalued. And you might actually agree with me if you actually see this data that I'm looking at right now. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. I should point out, I did buy a BYD electric car a few years ago, the BYD Atto 3. At the time, the only choice was Teslas, and they were quite expensive, or the Atto 3, and it was a good car. Now, the world has moved on. The Atto 3 is still a decent car. There are better choices now, but the Atto 3 is cheaper now than what it was when I purchased it. So, the price of electric cars is going down. However, interestingly, if you actually have a look at BYD's stock price, yes, it's true it has gone up by nearly 90% over the past 12 months and by 15% in a single day. And I'll explain why that's happened. At the same time, if you look at its price over the last 5 years, it was actually significantly higher all the way back on the 28th of June, 2022. It was actually sitting at around 352 yen, Chinese yen back then. So it's not even at all-time highs right now, which is insane. Considering the growth of BYD over the last 2 years, you'd think BYD's stock price would be even higher today. However, getting back to this story, why is BYD's stock actually just risen in the last day? Well, I actually think it's possibly misleading. Now, I think the stock price is undervalued, but the reason it's gone up doesn't make a lot of sense to me anyway. BYD's stock closed up around about 12% yesterday. The stock of the company's electronic component branch, BYD Electronic, advanced nearly 20% yesterday and remained unchanged today. Shares of smart car lens provider Yutong Optical Technology jumped by 20% and 16.3% the following day. Smart driving chip manufacturer Horizon Robotics, theirs increased by 10.4%. and 14.4% yesterday as well. So, in total, that's 25% increase for them. Big increases for these component manufacturers. So BYD actually announced yesterday that it will hold an intelligent strategy event on February 10 to introduce an advanced smart driving system called God's Eye. The Shenzhen-based firm also said it aims to lower the barriers of smart driving and promote the widespread adoption of intelligent driving experiences. From this year, BYD will equip all of its vehicle models with smart driving systems, offering 3 different solutions tailored for entry-level, mid-range, and high-end models, an insider at the company said yesterday. So basically, this is what's happened, right? People think, BYD is going to crack full self-driving, or at least have a very, very good version of like Tesla Autopilot, and then they'll have full self-driving in a few years' time. And so the market's anticipating this kind of growth, right? Don't get me wrong, BYD's price to earnings is still relatively low at around 27, but much higher than legacy automakers who are sitting at between 5 to 10. So the market is anticipating or pricing into BYD's stock price growth. They're saying they're a growth company. They're going to grow significantly over where they're at now. And so that's why they're worth significantly more. Their market cap significantly higher than other companies with similar revenue. The entry-level solutions, or these entry-level, self-driving solutions, will be supplied by full-stack intelligent cabin driving solution provider Raincom Technology. The mid-range ones will be independently developed by BYD, and the high-end ones will be co-developed by BYD and autonomous driving startup Momenta, the insider said, adding that smart driving chips will be from Horizon and NVIDIA. BYD sold more than 4.2 million cars last year, up 41% from the year before. This year, they're on track to sell over 5 million, and likely by the end of the decade, they'll be the largest car manufacturer in the world. Very unlikely that Toyota will be able to hold them off. Within 5 years' time, I'd be putting all my bets on BYD being bigger than Toyota, and of course, much, much, much more valuable as a company than Toyota. Now, is BYD's decision here to actually go in-house for their self-driving, is it going to play out? Well, maybe. I mean, my personal opinion is that manufacturers all over the world have wasted hundreds of billions of dollars on trying to go it alone. We know that they have. I mean, look, what happened to the Volkswagen Group and Ford? They had their own full self-driving company in Europe, and it spent billions of dollars, and they just shut it down. They didn't even use the technology. So this is not an isolated event, by the way. General Motors with Cruise, what did they spend billions of dollars on that? Gave up, right? Apple, part of the Apple car, the Apple EV car was meant to be self-driving, a self-driving electric car, right? We're looking at billions and billions and billions of dollars. And I think it's been a huge waste of money because they haven't really gone and said, you know what, hey, let's collaborate, let's work on this. And when they have, it hasn't really worked. But in this case, BYD, it's late to the party, but it is using Momenta, their technology. Momenta are basically a company in China that have this kind of software already. So basically, BYD is saying, rather than reinventing the wheel, to be honest, BYD's their own ADAS systems in their cars, they're terrible. They're not good. That's the one criticism that is fairly pointed at BYD. Their own safety systems are just okay. And in comparison to, say, Tesla, it doesn't matter if you're a fan of BYD and you're a fan of Tesla. It doesn't matter how you feel, what your emotions are. The fact is Tesla's ADAS systems and their software, it's light years ahead of BYD's today. And that is, if you don't believe me, talk to all the journalists. I mean, try and see if you can send them an email, say, listen, the Electric Viking told me this. Is this actually true? And I can tell you now, I've had personal conversations with all these guys on trips to China. They'll tell you exactly the same thing. It's a fact. However, Momenta, that's a different story. So basically, BYD are partnering with Horizon, NVIDIA, and Momenta, and these guys are going to do the work for BYD. And that's smart. That's really, really smart. Why would you try and reinvent the wheel when you don't need to? And other companies have this technology. So therefore, I think that is a key reason why investors are saying, you know what, this is a good idea. This will actually probably work. And this will mean that BYD could potentially get in on the full self-driving thing in China. I mean, China is a much, much bigger automotive industry than the United States. 31 million cars versus the US is 16. It's about double the size of the American automotive industry. Not double the revenue, but it's definitely double the size. So it's massive. And if BYD can get in on that and have some sort of partnership with maybe China's version of Uber, which is not called Uber, of course, that could open up huge amounts of revenue for the company. It also could mean BYD could equip their cars with this technology, those same cars that are being sold now in Europe, Australia, many places around the world, more than 50 countries, in fact. So that's really good for the potential of BYD's future vehicles. Guys, what are your thoughts about this? Let me know what you think in the comments.